These days, a man's mental health has taken the centre stage of important things, but for years and years, men all across the globe have really struggled to speak about things such as anxiety, depression, loneliness. And there are still hundreds of thousands of men who can't speak about things like this. They find that it's better just to stay inside and put up a hard shell. Even me, I'm only 18 years old, yet I've still had to put up with a fair share of hardships and struggles for years now. Now, the reason I'm speaking about all of this on a car YouTube channel is because I think cars are one of the best ways to get those emotions out. I mean, waking up and going for a drive in this, or taking it for a wash and polishing the wheels, genuinely puts a smile on my face. It's not one of those things that you can describe how it feels, or explain why it makes you smile. Yet I will still do that, day in, day out, because I love it. So what we're going to do is go on a good old road trip, about a 350-mile round trip, all the way down to the seaside in Weymouth. I'm going to take the car, not do any silly challenges, nothing like that, but just enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is. Of course, along the way, I'm probably going to car spot, speak about things that interest me, insult some people, maybe even say some controversial things. And like I said, I'm 18. The chances are I'm probably going to do a burnout. I do these road trips anyway. I'm just going to bring all of you along to see what I get up to. I mean, it's not the typical sort of video I make. Probably more of a vlog, if anything. But if you all enjoy it, I'm going to keep making them. So now let's go fill this thing up with some premium diesel, go to the shop, do a haul, and be on our way. So I filled my car with everything I'd need, and of course then had to empty myself of things I wouldn't need. And with some more fuel put into the car, and all of the snacks bought that I'd need for the trip, I was finally ready to go. So I've reset my trip computer, reset my MPG screen, all that stuff. I mean, I'm not going to be hypermile on the car by no means. If anything, I might be sitting at 70 on a dual carriageway. But just to see what I do over the weekend, you know? I mean, if I can get 60 MPG, I'll be over the moon. For driving normally, 60 MPG, that's plenty for me. So to anyone who hasn't watched any of my old videos, this is my daily driver. It's a 1.9 PD Polo. Quite a rare thing these days. It's a good car. I've not got too much to complain about it. Maybe it lacks a bit of character. It's a bit soulless being a diesel, but I love the thing. And for what I need, I mean, I do quite a few miles up and down dual carriageways, and it just eats it up all day. Great fuel economy, and now that it's been remapped, go watch the last video, it is so much fun to drive. I mean, it made 225 foot-pounds of torque, which is rivaling Golf GTIs. And not Golf GTIs when this car came out, modern Golf GTIs. Going back to what I spoke about at the start of the video, men's mental health. I think it's something that everyone struggles with, if you're young, old, rich, poor, anything. And obviously for years, men's mental health was just something that got forgotten about, rushed under the rug. But recently, it really has become something that is spoken about. With literally hundreds and hundreds of different clubs to support men who struggle to speak about their emotions. For me, it's probably one of the most important things out there, just looking out for one another. And the car community is probably the best place for it. I mean, yes, you get knobs in Fiesta STs, revving the nuts off it. I mean, pulling out of a petrol station, I somehow managed to get entangled in a race with a Fabia VRS that was shooting out black smoke and popping off a limiter. And I'll be honest, I went to second gear and floored it to try and keep up. Besides the point though, the car community is full of such good people. I mean, I've had conversations on Facebook group chats and stuff just about this car alone. I can't remember the exact question I asked from a group chat now, but there was something along the lines of what air filter's best for a 1.9 PD. And I received literally 20, 30 replies saying, no, get this one, no, get this one. Honestly, if you're wanting better longevity, get this one. No, on face value, that doesn't seem like much, just people being helpful. But there's not a lot of communities these days where you find helpful people. I mean, go onto a Discord or something, and you'll find so many people being horrible. You'll ask a nice, simple question, and people reply with, get lost, loser. But I really do think there is something just about cars in general, especially ones like this. It's 20 years old now, it's got countless flaws, but it speaks to me. It's got a character. Like I mentioned, it's my best friend. Yes, there's rattles from every inch and every corner of a car, but I've started to grow fond of them. And if I got in one day and car was silent, I don't know if I'd be upset, happy, confused, angry. And cars really make you convey different emotions. It's a weird thing. And that's something that I just don't think non-car people get. I mean, my girlfriend, she is obsessed with dogs. But for me, not growing up in a family of pets, never really interested me, never made me fall in love. But I can completely respect that she looks at her dog and thinks, this is the greatest thing on earth. Because I feel the same about cars. I know there's going to be people who comment and say, oh no, pets have hearts and lives. A car can't compete. But a true car guy can understand that somehow this lump of metal on four wheels can speak to you and give you emotions. And that is one thing that modern and electric cars just don't do. I mean, take any new electric crossover. They're not bad cars. And if anything, that's the issue. They're good. They've got no flaws. They've got nothing to talk about. They've got one job, like a robot. They do the job and go home. That's why I think Italian cars are probably the most loved. Your old Alfas and Lancias get the most praise, especially from Top Gear. And that's because Italians made cars which purposely were maybe a bit charismatic, covered in flaws. Drive a 20-year-old Alfa Romeo, I bet all the windows are stuck up, the rev counter doesn't rev, and the stereo only plays out of one speaker. But all of those things give it the character, and that's why you fall in love with them. That's why you name the car. I can't imagine one person, not one person, who's gone and spent 40 grand on their brand new Renault Scenic, or whatever they make these days, and gave it a name. I mean, I'm not one who names cars, but a few videos ago, I named this Polly. Mainly because it's Polly, Polo, Pol, you get it? And more because I drive the car and I've got a smile on my face, even when I'm doing 62 miles an hour. Sadly though, they are a dying breed. There's not much we can do to stop that now, it's just how things are going. Enough of me yapping now though. I think it is time for me to get some miles done, see how the old girl treats me, and report back to you in a bit.
And as with any road trip, I finally found myself a good services to stop at, fill up on food and get back on the road.
We have got, I don't know if you can see that or if that's going to be inverted, but 2 hours 17 minutes to go. So arrival time's 11:30, and that's not even to the place I'm staying. Chances are I'm not going to be there till midnight. Oh.
Well, as much as it does in the UK, I tried my best to embrace Poole and all the wonders it had to offer. So we went off to the shops. I even managed to get some JDM car spotting in. And of course, I got to see a train. But with my little day out, I headed back to Weymouth. I saw a Monaco rivalling harbour and possibly the worst modified Mercedes I've ever seen. I mean, seriously, what are those bumpers, side skirts, wheels? bonnet vent. Oh, what are you doing? Yo guys, welcome to the house. Hey fools, welcome to the crib. No. No. Alright, enter. Mikasa Sukasa, the finest penthouse in Weymouth. It's the same sort of level as a prison, but what can you do? Horrible leather sofas, which no one likes. And then a kitchen to suit the Queen with horrible appliances that look like they're from the Middle Ages. A TV from a Flintstone era. Then join me to the bathroom. Oh, I wasn't going there actually, I'd leave that for a couple of minutes. And then, where the magic happens. Oh, hang on, no, that's the wrong room. Hang on. 1 place to sleep, 2 places to sleep, 3 places to sleep, and even 4 places to sleep, and even a 5th place to sleep. And to top it all off, a real wood-burning fire. And after the house tour, I headed off to the arcades. And probably about £20 spent. All we received was this, 1 small pack of squashies. So after this massive failure, we headed off to town, where I managed to find one of the coolest items ever, and I even saw probably the worst Star Wars character there ever has been. So you join me back in the beautiful 1.9 TDI Polo, and after a day of exploring Weymouth, possibly the most boring seaside town I've ever been to, and after going to the arcades and buying the best bit of film memorabilia I could find, we're now off to a lighthouse, because I love big buildings. Driving to Portland, probably the nicest part about the Weymouth area, because I mean these sites I'm currently driving on, it's like a strip of road between the sea. Beautiful. You know, a question I've been asked literally once in my entire life: what do I think the 3 best cars of all time are? I mean, ask any car guy that and they'll give you a different answer each week. For me, there's always 2 that'll sit there: the Ferrari F40 and the Lexus LFA. I mean, the F40, a small capacity V8 with 2 turbos strapped to it, pop up and down headlights, a wing that can make children cry. That's a car that forgot about safety, forgot about creature comforts. I mean, they don't even have a stereo. It doesn't even have door handles, just bits of string to get out. That car was designed purely by Enzo Ferrari as something for driving pleasure. I mean, an F40 to me, and to a lot of people, probably one of the greatest cars of all time. And then there's the Lexus LFA. Quite forgotten about car these days, definitely being overshadowed by the Nissan GTR. I mean, another Japanese supercar with similar performance, similar Japanese looks, full of technology, but for about 50 grand, compared to the 350 grand the Lexus wanted. But for me at least, the LFA, it's got something special about it. I don't know quite what the word is. It's a bit of character, a bit of soul. That car was so over-engineered by Toyota just to prove a point. They wanted to show the rest of the world that they don't just make the Prius, but they can make a proper supercar. 4.8 litre V10 that could rev to 9,000 RPM. I mean, the car had to have a digital rev counter because analog just couldn't keep up. And going to my point of being over-engineered, that car took 9 years from the start of development because they built the entire thing out of aluminium and decided, nope, not good enough, we'll build it again out of carbon. And along with the fact that Jeremy Clarkson still, to this day, says it's his favourite car to drive,
definitely puts it high on my list. And then coming on to your third choice, I mean, the Veyron. It will always stick in my brain as being that 1,000 horsepower, ridiculous quad turbo, 16-cylinder car. But can I put it number 3 favourite? I don't think so. For me, though, it probably comes down to more of a personal choice. The 2002 Esprit V8 twin turbo. Now, as an actual car, they weren't great. I mean, they could handle well being made by Lotus and being a flagship model, 350 horsepower, and one of the last cars to have pop-up headlights, just making it that bit cooler. And to me, the Esprit will always have that special place in my heart. I mean, that was my granddad's car before he passed away. I may have only been young at the time, probably not even 1 year old. But the stories I've heard of that thing, I mean, topping it out, doing 180 miles an hour legally, of course, and the handbrake getting stuck on going through town centre, which means those massive AP racing brakes were bright red in a small town. And I think without that car, I may not be a massive car guy. I may not have this ridiculous love for cars that I do. Like I mentioned, that was my granddad's car and one of his many, many silly sports cars. From old Supras and other Lotuses of the time, his love for cars then transferred to my dad and then to me, which really is one of the reasons why I think they connect so well to me. Just going for a good road trip or going for a drive, it tugs on your heartstrings. It makes you really, really want to smile. So to answer a question that no one's asked, what are the 3 best cars in my opinion? LFA, F40, twin turbo V8 Esprit. And I don't think that's going to change for a long time. Well, until next week when I find a new car I like.
Whilst nursing a semi for my car talk, the lighthouse came into sight. And just like that, the road trip came to an end, leaving me with hours and hours of footage to edit and a long drive home. So with that, let's get some miles done and get to bed. Okay, so you meet me back in the car. We've got about 3 hours to go home. Yep, 3 hours. And it's just under 8 o'clock. So quick maths is saying 11 p.m. arrival time. Oh, end me now. Honestly though, what a weekend. I mean, just getting in my car and going somewhere. I didn't have any real plans this weekend other than to make a silly YouTube video of like a day in my life vlog from 2016.
But apart from the fact that I'm having to drive 3 hours home, I have absolutely loved this weekend. I mean, just getting in my car and going for a drive, seeing stuff I've never been before, going down dodgy back roads, seeing a lighthouse. I cannot recommend enough a road trip to anyone who's feeling down or anyone who's woke up and thought, I'm not happy. Honestly, get in your car and go for a drive. And if you haven't got a car, so what? Go for a walk, get on a bicycle. I remember the days before I was driving, I would just get on my bike and go for miles and miles on end. I just find that it's such a nice way to clear your head and get in that good state of mind. I mean, to me, and I'm sure loads of people across the country, road trips are just the best ways to put a smile back on your face. Those hours of exploration, seeing stuff you've never seen before, you've got to love it. And all this has made me want to do is go on bigger and better ones. Go to the Nürburgring and drive across Europe. I just cannot wait for next year. Big plans for this channel, whatever car I'm driving at the time, whether it be this or a 225 brake Audi TT. And mentioning this car, it has not done me wrong. Not just for this journey, but for all the journeys I've been on it. So far I've done about 13,000 miles on the thing, and it's absolutely loved every single one of them, never throwing up any issues. I mean, somehow this £1,200 Polo is probably one of the best cars out there, just eating up miles all day long while still being great on fuel. And then if I get to a twisty back road, I can keep up with way faster cars. And I do just have to take a minute to thank every single one of you watching this video and all the others. I mean, the support has been immense. I was expecting 4 or 5 months down the line to make maybe, I don't know, 1,000 views at most. And some of these ones are now sitting on, 15,000 or more. And the comments absolutely love it. And every single one of those comments is read and replied to as best as I can and try not to miss any of them. And all I can tell you is bigger and better things are going to be coming and coming and coming. To anyone out there that's wanting to make their own videos on YouTube or any platform about any topic they're interested in, whether it's cars, planes, or how tarmac's made, I cannot tell you to do it anymore. Because when I post out a video and watch the views go up, I love it. And I know I'm nowhere near the bigger YouTubes out there getting millions, hundreds and millions of views per video. But my couple thousand and a few hundred subscribers are plenty for me. And I'm so grateful for all the support you've gave me. But with all that being said, whilst my iPhone will keep moaning at me that storage is full because I filmed about 4 hours of content, let me turn up the stereo, get some more miles done, and finally get back home to go to bed.
And like that, I'm back. Just under 450 miles. What a journey. Like I already mentioned, if there's anything going on in your life, if you just feel down or if you've got a million things on your mind, go for a drive, get in your car and go anywhere. Don't even set maps. Go to the coast, go to the mountains, go wherever your mind takes you. But with all of that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video and I'll see you all in the next one.